What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of News in Motion. Today is Thursday. It is Thursday, September 21st, 2023. Um, Here on News in Motion, our Thursdays are usually our Friday Eves. So today's show is going to be a little bit more on the lighter side. We are going to talk about some news and relevant commentary and call to action, but we're also going to have some fun with our question of the day. Whether you are tuning in through YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, we just want to say thank you for tuning in. If you are joining us here live at 7:25 a.m. or if you are catching the replay in the afternoon, the evening, or the nighttime, whatever time you're tuning in, thank you for supporting News in Motion. For our audio and podcast listeners, y'all know what I say by now. Thank you for turning those dials to Hot 97 News in Motion. Later on in the day, we're gonna have my main man, Mr. Marty Marr, from Martin, turning on the song of the day. It's a classic jam. It's a classic jam for all of our old school folks out there. But how is everybody doing today on this Throwback Thursday, this Thankful Thursday, whatever Thursday you want to call it? I see some of y'all coming up in the room already. Good morning, Miss Antoinette Skies. Good morning, Miss Sardinia. Good morning, Miss Kim Emerson, who is tuning in through YouTube. Good morning, Miss Regina Shorts, who is tuning in through Facebook. Good morning, Fred Jones. And good morning, Miss Shirley Nicholson. How are y'all doing today on this Thursday? We almost to Friday, y'all. For all my working people, we almost there. We almost to Friday. We almost to the weekend. Now, granted, it's going to go by fast, but let's enjoy it. Let's enjoy our weekend, all right? So, without further delay, y'all know what we do here. Let's get ready for some news in motion.
News in motion.
What's up, everyone? And what's up? This is Thursday, again, our Friday Eve. And we got a lighter side, but we still have news to share with you today. Let me pick up where Isaiah left off. I see Marion Jackson coming in here from YouTube and my brother coming in here from Facebook. I also see Jacqueline in here, Robert Holman's in here. I love that y'all love this music. I'm glad. It just something just to freshen it up, but it was like the perfect sound. I see you, Lori Wallace. Good morning to you. Donita, good morning to you as well. I see you popping in here. Good morning to everyone. It is a great day indeed. I see you, Judy Neal. I see you, Adrian. Good morning. Good morning to my sister. Patricia Lyles is rolling up in here as well. So good morning to all of you. I love to see the diversity. We have LinkedIn, we have Facebook, we have YouTube, and then to all of our audio listeners as well. Good morning to you. Y'all, today is Thursday, September 21st, and we do have some news we want to jump in here. We're also going to have a little bit of fun today as well. First up, you may have seen on the Facebook page and my Instagram page that it's amazing. So I'm sharing this to say, never become frustrated with your journey. It may not happen overnight. It may take time. And one thing that Daniel Gibson always said to me, he's the PR strategist. He would say to me, slow and steady, slow and steady, slow and steady. Well, earlier this year, I did a podcast with Isia Ragland and just about wellness, trauma, things like that. She has a ministry in Baltimore, Maryland. And that podcast, I want to say it was probably early January. And she was featured in a magazine article for her business and for her ministry, but she talks about politics and prose with Gail Dudley. So they notified me that this feature went out, and they even headlined the magazine headlined it that way to say the Politics and Prose podcast. Y'all, that's major. And I just sat back. And if I can be honest with you all, I learned of this yesterday, right after about an hour after I was just sitting still and praying and asking God, okay, how's things going? Am I on the right track? What do you need me to do? Do I need to do anything differently? Just having my conversation with God. It wasn't an hour later. Daniel sent me that text message sharing that. And I thought it was important to share with all of you today. Slow and steady is all going to work out, whatever that looks like. And then, of course, we go check out the podcast yesterday. Just we were just in there because we're updating because the one comes out on this coming Friday, which we'll tell you about in a few moments. But the numbers shot up. And I'm thinking, wow. And one thing that I've been praying for is God, allow those who want to stick with us here on News and Motion to continue and to continue to glean and to learn. But God also opened up doors for a fresh new audience as well that will come alongside with those who are already here. And that's exactly what happened. So y'all cannot tell me that God does not answer prayers, because he does. All right, y'all, it's in the news, and I'm reporting it here because I think it's important to share if this speaks to you or not. But if you are looking for some at-home COVID tests and they're free, the Biden administration announced yesterday that it is providing $600 million in funding to produce new at home COVID 19 tests. And it is restarting the website, allowing Americans to order up to 4 free tests per household, aiming to prevent possible shortages during the rise in coronavirus cases that are typically come during the colder months. If I can also add here, they're saying that don't just throw away your old tests, because they're finding out that they're a good at least 12 to 18 months. So you have some leeway there. So I wanted to share that with you if you are looking for those. All right, y'all, I want to talk. Um, this is bothering me. I have to be honest with you, and I really want you all to participate. Thank you, Kim Edmondson. I want you all to participate in this conversation. On yesterday, Attorney General Merrick Garland testified on the oversight of the Justice Department before the House Judiciary Committee. Now, several Republican members, yeah, they really attacked him. They went at him. They grilled him, um, trying to find out whether or not he interfered with the attorney David Weiss investigation of President Biden's son, Hunter Biden. Now, Merrick Garland rejected all of that over and over and over again. He rejected every accusation. And he said, and I quote, "I am not the president's lawyer." And I was like, that's good message that you were sending as well. Um, and then he goes on to stress that he supports the attorney, and that there was an indictment that came behind that towards Hunter Biden. So he was somewhat confused, but then he became very emotional as they continued to grill him. Y'all can check it out on C-SPAN if you have the stomach for it. It was a lot. It was a lot. If I can share that with you all, it was a lot. So many of the Democratic members, really all of them, criticized the Republicans' handling of the hearing. And there's also some Republicans who also criticized their Republican colleagues. And one in particular, Republican Representative Ken Buck of Colorado, defended Merrick Garland's record. It was a lot. You could tell that this was and I'm gonna use this word, it was like a hit job. They were coming for him with everything they had, but it made no sense. It makes absolutely zero sense. And of course, many of the strategists and analysts are saying, well, this attack was for their guy, the former guy. Okay. And that's why they were doing this. So Merrick Garland, he struck a defiant tone yesterday, defending the Justice Department as independent of the White House and Congress. But the Republicans did not, they just kept pushing back on him. He came out and he says, our job is to uphold the rule of law. That's what Garland told the committee. And he became almost to tears as he began to describe his family fleeing the Holocaust. And there was just so much there. So my first question I have to our listeners and viewers this morning, was this a double standard by the House Judiciary Committee? Why this and why now? And we don't. And I don't want to even think that they were going after Joe Biden per se. But there's something. There was something underlining here that was bothersome, and I'm sharing this morning because y'all may not want to hear it, but 2024 is just in a few months, okay? And there's another debate coming up real soon here for on the GOP side. And people are out here asking for our money even right now today. Here's an opportunity for us to reach out to our representatives and say, enough with this. Enough with attacking people. What about the constituents? What about the constituents that you lead? Because technically, we're their supervisors. That's a whole new mindset that we have to frame around this. It's like I'm your supervisor, and I can't tell you what to do, but I'm going to keep bringing back to the forefront of your mind. This is why we voted you in, or this is why this district voted you in, was to do a job and to do a job to make sure that your constituents are taken care of and that we're building a better America and so forth and so on. Kim Edmondson says it was a waste. It was a waste of time. It really was. Adrian says they're trying to be tit for tat to protect the former guy. Dr. Antoinette says definitely double standards because they wouldn't serve on the House committee to investigate the crimes against the Constitution on January 6th. Absolutely. You're absolutely, I really feel that. And then here's the other thing, we're 9 days away from a government shutdown. But you preferred to do what you did on yesterday? Seriously? And the way they were shouting over him and cutting him off, and it was, and then not only that, we had another committee where Secretary of Transportation Pete Buttigieg was being grilled, and he was toe to toe with them. I thought Pete Buttigieg was getting ready to jump up and say, "Who wants to go out to the parking lot?" I mean, it was that type of thing, and I'm watching these one after another. And I have access where I can go in and like make chats and things like that and chat back and forth with some of the media people. And I was like, what's the temperature in the room? Like, what is really happening? This seems like both of these things are intensifying. And people were chatting back saying to me, uh, be glad you're over there. Like, be glad that you're virtual and not in the room. Because the heat was, they said it was something was going on. And I thought, this is too much. Let's get back to making sure these people will have jobs in 9 days. Um, Good morning, Karen. Donita says their allegiance to the former guy is baffling, absolutely horrible. It there's something that's striking here. So let's talk about the government shutdown because McCarthy's in a pickle. He's in a pickle. The U.S. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy um, is kind of getting real rocky for him right now. The far right Republicans, that's the what we call the Freedom House Caucus. They are now revolting against him. They're like coming out with everything. They're saying that they're not going to agree with the short-term spending bill. They said that's out the table. They want stuff cut. They want it cut now. They want decreases immediately. And his back is up against the wall. And he's almost paralyzed because he doesn't want to lose the chair. Lose the chair. Lose. This is me speaking. I would not. First of all, what you're going to be in the history book as someone who was not allowed to make moves. And if you made a move, you were going to be threatened to lose your seat. It's already in the book. So just go ahead and say, I fold. I'm done. Because they're not going to vote Marjorie Taylor Greene. And now she's done flipped on him. Remember, Kevin McCarthy was allowing her to open up the House hearings and so forth and so on. He was giving her whatever because he's their puppet. So you have Lauren Borbett, or however you say that her last name, and I don't mean any disrespect, but you were vaping in a children's concert last weekend, and you also had the dude you were with, who was not your husband, also touching all on you. and then you lie, and then you had to come back out and give an apology. Her and then Matt Gaetz. Matt Gaetz, don't you still have some questionable things over your head? So Kevin McCarthy is dealing with those three, threatening to oust him from his seat. His back is up against the wall, and we could possibly be looking at a government shutdown in 9 days. What gives? If you cannot control the House, and if all of you in there are just bickering and want to attack either Pete Buttigieg or Attorney General Merrick Garland and others, and you're not dealing with what's at the forefront, why are you in this office? Why are we allowing you to stay there? Y'all listen, 2024, we can oust all of them in 2024. All of them can go. But we have to take that stand and vote differently, vote with a different mindset. It's a lot. Kim Edmondson says, what does it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul? Girl, I need you out of my inspirational notes, okay? I just need you out of that, just totally out of it. To save your life is to lose it. So this is confirmation. We're on the same page here. Donita said the video told you, listen, the video told the story. They had to block out the video of her sitting in that concert. It's like, are we serious right now? But y'all, this is what we're dealing with while they are grilling the attorney general. And to put on top of that, they're on display. We have the UAW is ready to do another stand for walkout strike at more plants of the Ford, General Motors, and Stellantis. Now, the UAW president, Sean Fain. Now, although he's the president, I'm starting to look at him with a side eye and like, okay, this is we're talking about people's money now. Now, I don't think we should operate based upon the bottom line and money and that, and we shouldn't be scared or anything like that. But they're turning in, they are changing some of their requests, and they're answering some of the requests, and they just keep putting, no, that's not enough. That's not enough. So now I got to connect these dots, and I'm sure you're probably already there. What about the suppliers? So we have the plants, but what about the suppliers who are making all, you know how when you go and get your car fixed and say, we got to order this supply from such and such places. It may take about 3 or 4 days, but here's a car rental. Go rent this car and go do what you need to do. And hopefully we'll have the pieces that we need soon. Okay. The parts that we need soon. Well, what about the suppliers? Because if the plants aren't open, the suppliers are in trouble. Their families are in trouble. Yes. What about the auto workers' pay? Now, how much money do you have in the UAW before you run out of money? How much money do you have here? How long can this strike go on? What about the families? What about health care? What about, and we're going into the holiday season. And again, y'all, I'm not looking at that as the material side of it, but food, clothing, shelter, water, utilities. What's the end game here? And the more I'm reading on this strike, and I understand they want their pay, they want their money, they want their pension, they have a few hard asks. And I think it's worthy of having the ask and receiving it. But at what point, what's the end game? I'm not seeing an end game on anything that I'm reading. So where are you going to find the opening to come back to the table and maybe say, okay, we'll come down here. If you can meet us here, meet us in the halfway point. What are y'all thinking here? Kim Edmondson said he's on a power trip too. Listen, he's on a power trip. I was listening to one of his speeches yesterday and I went, what are you really doing here? Is this about you or about the people? So y'all, a whole lot to unpack there. So that's my heavy news that I want to share with you today. And I think Isaiah, if he has time, he's going to pop in here and give us I'm looking to see if he can do that, give us the rundown of what to look for in the college sports. When we come back, start thinking about this now. What's your coffee drink? What's your coffee drink? Come on in here, Isaiah, and give us the college rundown.
Good morning.
Good morning. I'm gonna let you go so we don't have the echo.
All right, I got you. Good morning, News in Motion family. Welcome back to another edition of News in Motion. I'm so glad to be back on the screen. I know it's been a minute since you have seen my face, heard my voice. Well, you've heard my voice in the intro, but it's so good to be back here on the show. Just a quick rundown of what is going on in terms of college football. We got Michigan taking on the Rutgers on Saturday. We also have Oklahoma taking on Cincinnati. Florida State is taking on Clemson. Miami, Florida is taking on Temple. Of course, Coach Dion and Colorado will be taking on Oregon. Mississippi will face Alabama. Duke is taking on Connecticut. UCLA taking on Utah. Tennessee will be taking on UTSA. Charlotte will be facing Florida. Arkansas will be facing LSU. Oregon State will be facing Washington State, excuse me. Iowa will be Iowa, go Hawks. Shout out to my father. Will be taking on Penn State. Texas will be facing Bel-Air. And then we also have Pittsburgh taking on UNC, USC taking on Arizona State, California taking on Washington, Ohio State is facing Notre Dame, and UAB taking on Georgia. That is for our college football. And of course, we have Thursday night prime time. The Giants will be facing the 49ers tonight. So that was our rundown of sports. Let us know who you're rooting for this weekend. And I'm going to throw it back to Miss Gail Dudley for more news.
Thank you. Great rundown. I'm so glad to see your face. And your mom, I'm gonna call out mom. I saw her somewhere on here. Look at my little handsome man. He's a working man. And look, and he's balancing two jobs. So there's that. So shout out to him for sure. But thank you, Isaiah. I appreciate that. I want to grab some of y'all's comments in here. Where was it? Dr. Antoinette said, sorry, no sympathy for McCarthy. He sold his soul for the gavel. There's that for real. And y'all liking it? I'm on the Coach Prime bandwagon as well. All right, y'all. What's your coffee drink? What's your coffee drink? What are you drinking? What's your coffee drink? Please put it in here. Now, y'all, as you're putting them in there, Starbucks is weighed down by billions of drink options. I know they have billions of drink options, but I guess they do. Starbucks is doing they're doing fine financially, but the skyrocketing demand for insanely complicated drinks is overwhelming the employees, and it's really ticking off some of the customers as well, who say that orders are taking too long. On top of that, Starbucks is talking about getting rid of their cups, and you just come and bring your reusable cup. I'm like, that's going to take up more time because you have to wait till I get there, hand you my cup, and then you got to make my drink. So I can no longer order online because I got to bring you my reusable cup. Like, what? How is this going to work? So there's a lot that they're dealing with. So y'all, the Fast Coffee Company is spending billions to go even faster, giving baristas space to try to connect with these coffee demands and all these different coffee drinks. And I have to laugh because a really good friend of mine, I call her my sister, John Gore's wife, Judy, she laughs at me when I'm going through the Starbucks line. She goes, oh, what you going to get? Flip it, flop it, whip on top, flip it up, dude. I said, girl, I don't do all that. She goes, it's what it sounds like. She said, you go in, know this, know that, give me foam, no foam, give me this, don't this. I wanted ice, but I don't want the ice in there. And she laughs at me when I'm giving this order. And so they're talking about the complexity of all of this. So whether it's Starbucks or Tim Hortons or Dunkin's or wherever, what do you ask for? And are you complicated with your coffee request, or is it something real easy? So please put that in the chat. Let's see. Latrice Jones says, a gold card carrying Starbucks member. I am now drinking Rise mushrooms coffee. What? That's interesting. I never heard that in my life. Kim Edmondson says black coffee, no sugar, no cream unless it's bourbon cream. Well, there's that. And this is the holiday and the weather to start doing that. Lori says no coffee, chai tea. I'm chai tea too. Chai tea. And this is exactly how I asked for it. I want a grande chai tea latte, no water, no foam. Boom. And that's when my sister be like, girl, what is all that? Jackie says, I tried a matcha latte the other day. Otherwise, it's usually regular coffee. Well, did you like the matcha? And also, y'all, the matcha water. No sweetener, no ice. That's good too. Dr. Antoinette says coffee with caramel cream, light sugar. I don't need all the extras. Okay, okay. Let's see. And then she says most of the time she makes hers at home. Uh Kim Evans says, sound like you just like hold up. Listen, you gotta make it right. You gotta make it right. Now you do yours with almond milk, Lori. Every now and then I'll switch with almond milk. And this is the season also that I love their caramel apple spice. Ah, if you have a sweater on and boots and you're just out shopping or whatever, the caramel apple spice is good. Marion Jackson says, I'm with Kim Edmondson, black coffee, no sugar, no cream. Adrian says, basic latte. I'm missing these. Y'all are flying in here now. Extra shot of espresso and almond milk. Isaiah Jones, he's out here on the boards. He says, I don't really drink coffee, but the strawberry Acia freshener with lemonade be hitting. All right. Donita says, tea drinker here, but make it at home. No Starbucks for me. Jacqueline says, yes, the matcha. Listen, that matcha is good. And it's good. It's like a green tea type thing, supposed to help you, lose weight and stuff like that if you just want a side thing there. Kim Edmondson says chai tea is the only thing I like at Starbucks. Davia, good morning. She has a grande oat milk toffee nut latte, half sweet, extra hot, no foam or whip. Now she's the one holding up the line, y'all. But I get it. You want what you want and how you want it. You want what you want. And like the caramel brulee latte that should be coming up here in a few weeks, the caramel brulee latte, they only do it during the holiday season. But I go get the secret recipe offline, and then I go through the drive-through or order, and I give them everything I want in it. And the person said, you want a caramel brulee latte? I said, yeah, but when I say that, y'all tell me that's only the holiday, so I have to give it to y'all this way. Latrice Jones says, my Starbucks order is venti vanilla latte, extra hot, no room, no foam, with light whipped cream and matcha mocha drizzle. Y'all See, I see why this is happening. Davia's laughing. I see her face. Lori says, so the sweater and boots make it taste better. There's just something about it. Just something about it. So, y'all, we always like to have fun. Just to add to this, y'all, TikTok is what's making it more difficult. People are putting drinks up on TikTok, and then people are going to the line trying to order them. That's taken a very long time. So they're like, what is happening? But so much is happening. They're also going to roll out some new flavors. And wait a minute, I'm shocked. Hold up. Nobody said pumpkin spice latte. I'm shocked. Normally that's the go-to right now. I don't like it. I don't like pumpkin. But that's the go-to. Fred Jones says, now you on my street, caramel brulee. Listen, that's good. And always ask for extra toffee nut. Oh, and then the crunch. Something about that. Regina says honey almond flat white grande. Y'all got these orders going on. Y'all got them going on. There's going to be extra flavors for the holiday that's coming out, not just with Starbucks, but also with Dunkin'. So be diverse. Try some new things. Listen, I tried a caramel latte with almond milk iced at Dunkin'. Shoot, won't turn back. So if I pass a Dunkin', that's where I'm headed. I don't like Jacqueline. I don't like pumpkin anything either. No, they should really come out with a sweet potato latte. Put that up in a Starbucks or black coffee shop somewhere. Listen, if y'all do that, right here on News in Motion. What time is it? It is 7:54 a.m. Eastern on Thursday, September 21st. I'm expecting a royalty from that. Okay, just want to let y'all know. Y'all heard it here first. This video will be able to use as evidence in a court of law. So if that comes out, don't forget me. Latrice Jones says, pumpkin cream cheese muffin, no pumpkin spice latte. Well, y'all are loving this. I love it. So y'all look for some new flavors coming out, especially in Starbucks real soon. Y'all, fun fact before we get out of here. Let's see. Lori says sweet potato latte. The line will be around the corner. Absolutely. Again, I want some royalties from that. Y'all, here's a fun fact. Bob Ross. Do y'all remember him? He used to be on PBS. He died. He used to be on PBS painting and talking on Saturday morning. So if you weren't watching cartoons back in the day, you were probably watching that, or your parents or guardian or whomever was watching that. Well, y'all, his very first painting sold the other day for $9.8 million. The painting was a walk in the woods. It was painted in 27 minutes on the first episode of The Joy of Painting in 1983. This was the PBS station volunteer bought it in 1983, probably less than $100. So a PBS volunteer who saw it said, "I'll buy it, whatever," and less for $100. Well, it displayed in her home for nearly 40 years. Well, she sold it for $9.8 million. So, hey, so keeping up with what Kim was saying, and that was so funny that you brought that up. I've been reading this. Well, I've been reading this all. I read this every day, but I've been reading lately about this whole thing. What does it profit your soul to do some of the things that you do? What is it really doing for you? And how selfish can it be for you? And it talks about here, and I'm in Mark 8, where it says, "For whoever wants to save his life will lose it, but whoever loses his life for me and for the gospel will save it. What good is it for a man to gain the whole world yet forfeit his soul?" Like, what good is it? What good is it? So I've been really pondering that lately. And so I wrote down in my journal, I was writing down, what does it mean to lose your soul? What does that really look like? What does it mean to deny yourself? What does that look like? Like, what does that really mean? What does that entail? And so I want to step further, because the other thing that's been popping up at me throughout the last 2 or 3 weeks is that I keep seeing accounts of Jesus telling people who he has healed, or when he's with his disciples, not to tell anyone. And it has me thinking, do we run our mouths too much? Is this a time we're just supposed to be silent and just not say anything? And it keeps popping. So I'm dealing with these two pieces here. One, um, uh, for whoever wants to save his life will lose it, but whoever loses his life for me and for the gospel will save it. And then this whole thing about don't tell anyone. What's there? And I don't have an answer for y'all this morning. I'm just letting you know where I'm at in my place of study right now, and what's going on in life right now. I'm enjoying life. I am enjoying life. But these two things are head on. They're in front of me. It's like, what does that mean? What does that look like? And how do we actually get there? Latrice Jones says confirmation. How do we just shut it all down? Like, seriously. How do we stop repeating things that we've heard? Or how do we not share that vision that God has given us? Because I believe sometimes God just wants us to see what's happening. And He wants us to pray about it. He doesn't want us to go run and talk about it to anybody. He's like giving us a warning, but we jump the gun so often. So even as I'm going through these news pieces, I'm looking at some of this news now, saying, why are we putting that out there? Why are we jumping the gun? Last week, I may have seen a post where I put up on my Facebook wall about Delta, the changing of everything that they're doing when it comes to those who have been loyal to them. And I think I shared with you all last week, I'm still okay for 2024, but 2025, you're going to limit me to 6 visits, and those 6 visits can be gone in one trip. So it's like, what does this mean? And so it has me thinking, are we sharing so much on social media that it is prompting people to say, I'm not sure about this. Let's change this and let's see if we can get them out of the equation. I'm sorry, I'm going there. So even when it comes to these coffee drinks, and TikTok being in the forefront of what's happening in this whole push for Starbucks, and they pretty much talk about Starbucks on TikTok. They said there was 37,200 TikTok videos in just the past 2 weeks of all of these drinks. They're telling people to go and try these drinks and everything. Are we saying too much? Are we even relying on what people are saying that they really don't hold any weight? There's so much that's going on. I was teasing my husband yesterday. We were out there. We have a bed. Y'all know this. I've been talking about this for 3 years. We have a bed out front um, that is just filled with weeds. And no matter what we do, no matter what any lawn care company may do, they can clean it up. It can look good for about 2 weeks. Let it rain, and it's like they multiply. And it's been that way for as long as we lived here. I think it's now 21 years. As long as we lived here. And so my husband found this cool little thing on Amazon. And as our neighbors were out walking their dogs, it was a beautiful night last night. They were like, Kevin, what do you have? So he's telling everybody, they're like, where'd you get Amazon? I said, right now you're being an Amazon influencer. Let's get you listed up as an Amazon influencer because all of them about to go buy what you have out here. And one guy walked back and said, I just ordered it. And I said, see, you just lost some of your profit right there. I was teasing, we were laughing. But the truth of the matter is anybody can be an influencer. But I want to come back with this question. What are you being an influencer for? What does that look like for you? Are you saying too much? Are you not saying enough? What does that look like for you? And I want us to ponder that going into the weekend. And I'm not trying to get you to study the same thing I'm studying, but it's blowing me away. He said, and I can't find the number of times, and I'm still looking, but he said so much in this New Testament from Matthew, and I'm in Mark now. I don't know why I'm going chapter to chapter, but he continued to say, don't tell. Now, don't tell anybody. Don't go back to the village and tell anybody. Don't tell people don't tell them what you saw. Don't tell anybody. That has me thinking. All right, y'all. That's the story for today. That's the story for this week. Thank y'all so much for hanging out with us. Y'all want to check out tomorrow's podcast. It drops Politics and Prose, episode 3 of season 3. Drops tomorrow. You don't want to miss this podcast. I sit down with Kelly Drago and Teresa Busher, who will bring a wealth of expertise to the table as public affairs specialist for the Social Security Administration. I was shocked as I was interviewing them. I was like, we can do that? What, this happens? Huh? How? And they were telling me how many people, and I point blank asked the question. I said, do you see a difference with African American people and white American people? Wait till you hear that answer. Again, and I don't know why I've been on this all week. We don't read. We are afraid to, we're afraid to know the truth. There's something that's stopping us, but we're missing a lot of opportunities because we're not reading, we're not asking the questions, we're allowing intimidation or the fear of the unknown to stop us. But there's a lot out there that we have access to, and it's time for us to do it. All right, y'all. Y'all stay moving and remember to live your life abundantly. We're out.
Motion.